Hello and welcome back to All to Do with the Woo. This is our second episode where we talk about the more mysterious side of water. And today we'll be talking about mermaids.
Woo.
I'm back here with my co-host Shelly Waters. How you doing today, Shelly?
We're good. I'm ready to talk about some ladies of the sea.
Ladies of the sea. In the nice hot studio today because we didn't prep it.
Yay, heat wave.
Woot. These ladies of the sea aren't dealing with the heat wave. They're probably in a nice, cool ocean. Alrighty, mermaids. In days of old, the ocean was an unexplored frontier. Early vessels told tales of faraway lands, ocean treasures, and sea monsters. One such tale involves that of Sing and Song, a voice velvet and soft to the ears, one that beckons a sailor to reach out and follow in awe, only to be dragged below, stolen from their crew, suffering the fate that comes not from willing negligence, but entrancement. What would you do should you come across a beautiful woman seemingly swimming through the water? Her voice, soothing and gentle. She waves for you to join her, and you can't help but want to jump in. These are not women, they're mermaids, and they're there to take your life. All I can think about is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy from SpongeBob.
I mean, from a literal sense, I think of The Little Mermaid, just because we grew up on that. But also, you definitely played mermaids in the pool. Maybe not you, but
I
definitely played mermaids.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl in the pool.
That was also respectable. But you definitely swam up to each other and you want to play mermaids with your goggles and your floaties, and sometimes they had little suits that looked like mermaids. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Actually, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Were they
like you were cool if you had one of those?
The little girls with the sparkles on their face and stuff,
Yeah.
and the seashells on the back of their hands.
They went all out.
I gotta look that up now because I think I do remember. Maybe they were dangerous.
Probably. Your legs are enclosed in this fabric, and you actually have to be a mermaid.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like,
hope you can swim.
These people probably got sued. Some kids out there drowning.
Oh.
A woman torso and fish body. The typical mermaid one may think of, but they've appeared throughout history as much more, from full-scaled humanoids to half fish, half man, some with fish heads and human legs, some with fish tails and human torsos. So where did these entities come from? Before we get too far into it, if you had to guess, Shelley, where do you think the mermaid myth came from? And the answer is not Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh. Or Little Mermaid? Because I feel like Little Mermaid's been around since, the 90s?
So you think Disney?
Maybe. I don't really know. I feel like mermaids is just one of those things that everybody knows, and everyone has a picture in their head of what a mermaid is, but I don't know that we ever learned where mermaids came from.
Well, you're gonna today. And it is true that a lot of people, when you think about mermaids, you don't think about mermaid history. So let's take a dive into the earliest forms of mermaids. Mermaids might actually be an imaginative recreation of the siren, which is a half-human, half-bird that would sing songs of seduction to feed on men's prey. These, however, come from Greek mythology. Keeping in tune with that similarity, it would be easy to see how one mythology could flow into another based on whereabouts, changing in ways that best suit that area of unknown, dangers, and mystique. Kind of like spreading rumors in school or through friend groups. You know, people love to talk about that kind of stuff.
Indeed.
Even though Greeks are known for their exciting and awe-inspiring gods and beasts, it's actually in Syria where we'll first find the mention of mermaids. The Syrian goddess of fertility, moon, and water, known as Atargatis, is the first mention of half-woman, half-fish. Her legend states that she'd fallen in love with a mortal man. He was a shepherd by the name of Hadad, only for him to literally end up dying because she was too beautiful and too divine. Kind of sounds like she had a major ego. Is this where I died and went to heaven at first sight comes from, you think?
I'm kind of upset you don't have that mentality towards me. Like, you should think I'm so pretty you want to die.
Let's move on.
Wait, I'm surprised this is like a Syrian thing, because if anything, I would have figured Oh my gosh, we should talk about Atlantis. Add that to the woo topics.
Alrighty, we'll put Atlantis in the woo topics.
Mermaids probably definitely live in Atlantis. Why would they be living or coming out of Syria?
Why did it come from Syria? I don't know. This is just where it was first mentioned. But after Hadad had succumbed to his death, she had felt immense guilt for being the reason he died. She then threw herself into the lake to be either eaten by fish or to become one. She was ultimately transformed into a half fish, half woman. Thus, the first mermaid.
Kind of dramatic to flop into the ocean and be like, all right, I'm a fish now.
Yeah, it's probably the earliest form of he broke up with me, so I'm cutting and dyeing my hair.
I wouldn't be as dramatic. I'd be like, as you should, sir.
Die in awe?
Correct.
I think that's a little extreme.
Not extreme enough. Men, love your ladies.
Let's go to the year 1403. Lake Permermeer, Netherlands. During a storm, damage had occurred on the dikes meant for flood support. Once receded and fixed, it was found a mermaid had been trapped in the lake. First noticed by a couple of milkmaids. Gotta get your milk. She was described as greenish in appearance, but mostly human-like, with no tail. Over time, the milkmaids had become acquainted with one another through overlapping encounters with her. Eventually, the mermaid drifted close enough for them to reach. They took their chance and snatched her up, bringing her back to town with them. They must have learned to snatch people up from our girl Nessie, because I tell you, I don't know if it's more dangerous to be in the water, out of the water, or just next to water. Maybe you should just stick totally away from water.
I don't know. Maybe Nessie's a girl's girl. They're all together. Or this is some weird ocean clique. I don't know if I'd want to be a part of this.
Nessie knows the mermaids.
Like, who are the mean girls? Are the mermaids the mean girls, or is Nessie the mean girl?
Oh my God.
Because Nessie's isolated. She doesn't have a good look for her.
The town took her in, raising her as a human. She sought to return to the water and was constantly watched over to make sure she would not escape. She became popular by word of mouth, drawing crowds from elsewhere to come see her. Eventually, she was gifted from the town of Adam to the city of Haarlem. She had never learned to speak, but she was taught to use a spinning wheel. She even attended church and was seen by others as a worshiping Christian. It's said when she had died, she was actually buried at a Christian cemetery. This poor girl, what I assume is a girl because I don't really believe this was a real mermaid. Apparently she'd probably just lost her home, forced to use a spinning wheel, and probably had religion forced upon her because she couldn't frickin' speak the language.
That sounds like a logical response. But I don't know. How do we know? We weren't there.
I mean, days of old, I guess people probably just, oh my God, she's in the water and she's a little green.
We also had witches in Salem, and if you were kind of off, you were deemed a witch. So
that's true. That's actually very true.
I feel like this is kind of a parallel.
I think
so that just with aquatic beings.
Stepping somewhat closer to our timeline, let's take a look at the famous Christopher Columbus.
I know him.
Yay, Christopher Columbus, yeah.
He is real.
Yes, he was indeed real. It was January 9th, 1943. In a journal of his, he'd written how the previous day he'd seen 3 mermaids while traveling near what's now known as the Dominican Republic, stating they were not as beautiful as they were painted. Did he see real mermaids? Sorry to disappoint, but many believe that they were dugongs, manatees, or sea cows. I mean, yeah, if I saw a manatee that kind of looks similar to the descriptions of a mermaid, I'd be severely let down after expecting what's supposed to be this beautiful, seductive woman, and you're just like, oh, it's a sea cow.
That's messed up. How do you confuse a manatee for a woman?
I don't know. Ask Christopher Columbus. This is his account, not mine.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have a good rep kind of to
true.
begin with, so he would call a woman a manatee.
Oh, jeez. I mean, technically, this is kind of the first account ever recorded of catfishing. Columbus got played.
Did he? Don't know how much I believe from this guy.
All right, we won't get into too much of Christopher Columbus's history, but our next account takes place on June 15th, 1608. An English navigator by the name Henry Hudson wrote in his journal while traveling near small islands off the northern coast of Russia. He wrote, "From the navel upward, her back and breasts were like that of a woman's, her skin very white, and long hair hanging down behind, of color black. And her going down they saw her tail, which is like a tail of a porpoise. and speckled like a mackerel.
This account is giving paint me like one of your French girls. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I get it. They're bored on these ships, surrounded by nothing but men, maybe a seagull or two, some rats.
Yeah, so they're like yearning.
Yeah, they're hallucinating.
Maybe
women
that's
in the
why.
sea.
Maybe that's how this whole thing came about, that they were so sick at hallucinating. And they're like, is it a manatee? Put a wig on it. Boom, it's a woman. Because they were tired of seeing fish and men. They needed to change it up a little bit. I don't know. I guess desperate times.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Nowadays, most sightings come to hoax videos, performers, AI. But what if we grow so used to what we see that when the real thing passes us, we might just think it's another of the same? If you do find yourself sailing the sea and happen to hear a melody, it may be best to block your ears and keep your eyes down. You don't want to be dragged into the sea next.
Or just be cautious. Be cautiously optimistic. Listen to the sound, but then if that sound starts taking you in, you're like, I don't know, I didn't like consent to this. Like, I just wanted to listen.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a balance here.
It'd be kind of suspect to see a woman out in the middle of the sea, too. You're like, does she need help? And then she starts singing. I'm out of here. I got to get out of here. Nope.
That's fair. Or they're hallucinating.
Or you're hallucinating, yeah. All right, this is our second episode of All to Do with the Woo. Thank you for joining us, me and my co-host, Shelly.
Woo!
And visit us next time for episode 3, where we'll be talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Shelly's going to be taking that one, huh, Shelly?
Oh, yeah. Anything to do with triangles, I'm in.
Because she's not square. If you've got a story and you'd like to tell it too on the storytelling part of All to Do with the Blue, you can email me at atdwtb@gmail.com. Tell us your story. Let's get you on the show. Thanks, guys.
See you next time.